Hi, how are you guys? This is Artsy Wisdom. My name is Diane. Thank you for coming by. I'm gonna put on some lip stuff because my lips are dry. Sorry. And we are in the way station. We are on our way from our cabin in Saskatchewan, and we're in Edmonton. We'll be leaving here in about a week to go to Arizona. Wish us luck. There's no bad weather. And thank you all for your lovely comments. Some of you are just so supportive, and it makes my heart happy because, every once in a while I get a negative comment and I go, "Mm," but you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. Buttons, the blind little Buttons is doing fine. She's getting more and more used to our environment. We were worried because we're changing locations, but that's funny. She just seems to get used to it. And so, dogs are adaptable. Many of you said that they are really, that you had blind dogs or you knew of them, and you said they're very adaptable, and she's doing great. Today, I'm going to be looking at a few things. I looked into Robert Redford. It was so yummy and nummy in his energy. He's just lovely. And so I'm going to talk to you or share with you what I got with him. Really nice. And the New World Order, I looked into that. It was kind of heavy. And it's sort of like the next 10 years is what I did. This is all an experiment. And I was curious. So I'll just share with you what I got. Who knows? I looked at Peter Thiel. Yucky caca. Yeah, did another two energy. I'm not so great. And the Xi Jinping, I looked at his energy because somebody had said he had a stroke. So I wanted to look at that. The No King's Day is tomorrow. Now, just briefly, I looked in the astrology the other day in my video, and I didn't see any giant kaboom, but I know that the many protests, many of which will be fine, we still have some free speech. Anyway, I think most of them will be fine. I think in locations where the energy is super high already, like in Portland and Chicago, there may be some um, fiery moments. And I do see a lot of people getting arrested. But I also see a lot of people taking images online and manipulating them either through AI or taking images from another date and saying they were from the No Kings protest. And then it gets this anti-Antifa, which isn't a thing, but they're creating this Antifa energy, and so they got to go out there and fight. So there's that. There is competing agendas. So where the energy is high, like in those cities, and maybe even LA too, but Oklahoma came to mind. I don't know why Oklahoma just popped in my head, but I'm sure it's going to be overall okay. It's just not super. I would just be careful. I have a couple friends in Phoenix that are gonna go, and I don't have a sense that it's gonna be bad in Phoenix. I'm just telling you. I think it's gonna be little pockets here and there, depending on who's around and who's antagonizing things, and they want to fight people. And the Hate America protest. This Caroline Levitt is a horrible human. She's horrible. She's calling Democrats Hamas lovers, and if they're hate America, she's labeling. All they do is label people, and I'm tired of it. I am so tired of it. We are Americans. I want to be an American. This American might love Palestine. This America might love Israel. I don't care. We're not Democrat or Republicans. We are Americans, and I'm so sick and tired of this Trump regime trying to use that tool because it's a devious, immoral, unethical, evil tool to label things and market them as bad or good or whatever it is. And I hate it. And I know I just hate it because some people take it to heart. They don't see past it. And they go, yeah, all Dems are, or well, like transgender people. We all want to give illegal immigrants health care. And because we're Democrats, we're just horrible. And she is a horrible person. I'm sorry. Caroline Levitt, you are a horrible, horrible human. She says she's a Christian. No, sorry, Bob. She is not. She is not a Christian. No Christian that I know of or respect says those kind of things. She does not. It's terrible. Anyway, get on my soapbox. And so I'm going to start there. Oh, and Prince Andrew got um, his title taken away. He met with the king, his brother, and they had I guess, heart to heart. And he said it in a nice way. He says, I have to do what's best for the country and the monarchy, and relinquish my title as Duke of York, and uh, and also a member of the honor Garter honor or something, Garter of Honor or whatever it is, which is a big deal. And then, hence, because he is no longer the Duke of York, his wife will no longer be the Duchess of York. So Sarah Ferguson will be Sarah Ferguson. So that's very interesting. He has been lying and lying and lying about Epstein and all the terrible things he's done, um, and he's been caught over and over and over again. And Queen Elizabeth gave him a pass, and they paid off her debts, his debts. Just it was terrible, and he's a spoiled brat, and he needs to. I don't even know if he realized. I think he still thinks he's right. I think he's that kind of a mentality, like I can do no wrong. I think they both kind of do. Anyway, so good. I'm glad about that. And I already talked about Xi Jinping, No Kings, Peter Thiel, and Robert Redford. Okay, let's get started. First of all, thank you again. I have a few new subscribers, and welcome, and thank you for all just stopping by. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This transition from our different places, I don't have my microphone, so it may be hard for some of you to hear, so I apologize, but this is, as long as you're patient and turn up your volume, that would be helpful. I'm going to end with Robert Redford because he was just, the energy's just lovely. I wanted to snuggle with him. But I'm going to start off with the New World Order and Peter Thiel. He is one of the tech bros. I guess he bought 10% of Facebook back in the day for $500,000. So he's a, billionaire of some sort. And so when I looked into his energy, let me find my notes because I meditated on him and I have to look to see because I can't remember. Okay, so I see him play. I got the word plays dark and dirty. Um, and I also feel like he wasn't always like this. I feel like he's grown into this person that he's like many of them. Like JD Vance grew up with a addict mother in the poor areas of the Appalachian Mountains, and he was able to create this new life for himself, but it perverts their idea of morality, and they just get lost in money and power. Abby's over here sleeping. Oh, yeah, by the way, Buttons is doing great. Those of you who have given me lots of ideas or suggestions about her. Now we're in a different location than we were at the cabins. Waits to figure out what she is and kind of very slowly moves, and she's doing really good. So thank you. It gave us a lot of support. I had my husband read your comments, and I gave him a level of comfort because I think he was really fearing he might have to put her down, but no. So it's working out really well. So thank you. I even got one of these little bags to carry her in. Okay, back to Peter Thiel. He plays dark and dirty. He has grown into this person. All these people, the power and greed. Um, he drinks and produces the tech Kool-Aid. The more they talk amongst themselves, him, like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all these, Sam Altman, it's not Waltman. Was it Waltman or Altman? I think it's Altman. They're all like convince each other that they're doing the right thing because they've lost track of what is right and wrong. Their conscience is not, it's almost looked down upon. It's shameful to have a conscience and do what's right for everything. You should focus on what's tech, and they I think, pervert technology and learning new things and expanding technologies to something um, glorified or something honorable, that they are part of it. And I think they think it's like part of their journey in life and to be this hero kind of. And I think that's part of it. And it's really weird. And it's really sad because it's not true. I mean, yes, do make progress, but do things in the right humane and way that serves humanity, not just yourself. And because I think they think the guardrails, if there are any, are going to limit their expansion and power. And so it's bad. Anyway, he drinks the Kool-Aid, like Musk. He's drunk with money and power. They all are. And I said, they all need to have a freaking downfall, a big downfall. Egos are missing. I'm sorry. Egos are massive. I can't read my own writing. I'm a little excited. Caroline Levitt got into me. Now, I saw him, this is just a side note. I saw him in this big area of white, and he's not visible. So I took it in two ways. I'm laughing. Like he doesn't want to be seen, so he surrounds himself with lots of layers, like Trump does with the mob boss, although Trump likes to be seen. It's layers where people can't get at him. Epstein was the same way, kind of thing. So it could be that where he's got these bubble of white around him. Or I also think it's possible he needs to worry about snow, skiing, avalanches, somewhere where there's a lot of, I mean, it could be literal. That's the feeling I got. It's quite possible it's living. So it could be buried white around him, buried in something like that. And I don't even know if he skis or anything, but I feel like that's a distinct possibility. Or maybe I was thinking manifesting it through my hope that they would all have a downfall or downfall. He would fall down skiing. I don't know. It's all, like I said, this is all an experiment, and I'm sharing with you my images. You guys help me decipher. I love your comments. That's great. But he and Vance were friends from a long time ago, and he is rich now because of his buying up 10% of Facebook years ago. So there's something different about him, though. I know he's dark and dirty, but there's something um I want and I don't get a sense of devious like evilness about him like I do Vance, but I know he's his donor and he's pushing all his things that he believes in. But and you guys will probably contradict me and say he's definitely evil. Um the name sounds bad. His name has a really negative energy to it. There's something about his name. Maybe because it has the E and the I and the L in the end of it. I don't know. But he is, yeah. But I do think he's part of this tech bro world. And I think it's going to continue. But I feel like he's going to be hidden. He doesn't want to be up front like the Zuckerbergs, the Bezos, the Musks, and all that. I feel like he's going to make a turn. There's going to be something where either he's going to get out of I'm not saying he's not going to donate to political things, but I feel like he's going to make a turn at some point, and it could be when the Republicans are lose the House and the White House, something like that. I feel like he's going to either invest businesses or something, or change his direction in life. I don't know what that is, but that's where I'm at. All right, New World Order. Um, I'm going to do it in like sort of. These aren't fantastic, so just I end on a positive note. So hold you if you need. So I saw cryptocurrency creeping in all over the world, and that's going to become a more global currency in a way. I know it is kind of already now because people are hiding money as crypto, but it's kind of become more stabilized in a way. But there's still going to be sections of it that people will hide stuff. But it's going to become bigger and bigger. It's going to be a global standard. Gold prices will go up more, of course, because we can't make more gold. It's in the earth, but there's only so much. But I do feel like there's going to be a big vein that's going to get hit somewhere. I do feel like that's going to happen. It doesn't feel like right away, but I do feel like there's a pocket or a vein. That's what they call it, right? A big area of gold. China came to mind. I see China and the US. The US gets denser and China feels lighter. And I know they're going to get Taiwan, or they're going to attack Taiwan, but their direction or their goals are going to be more united. And of course they are, but there's something lighter about them, something lighter about China. And I know they're changing their emissions standards. They're trying to get more into solar because of the pollution there and how much they've contributed to it with coal burning, and they're switching. They'll be the leader in that. And then we'll be the bad guys because we'll be still pumping out coal and oil and plain stuff. All right, climate. After the Dems get in power, we're going to shift back to a lot of clean powers. I think they're going to get back into the climate accord with the European Union or whatever it is, the world. And I saw China is starting on here. I do see floods and lots of movements of people to higher grounds, um, because all the areas that are on low levels, we're going to have more floods due to these big rains, like Texas and was it South Carolina or North Carolina last year, or even in Arizona, there was a big flood just a couple weeks ago. Um, movement of peoples to higher grounds, economies will shift, and the food types will change. But the big thing, the good thing about this AI in tech that regards, I think, and I've seen this before, AI is going to help predicting climate weather stuff. I think they're going to embed that or create technology with weather. And I'm sure it's already part of the weather forecasting, but there's something, well, too bad we don't have that department anymore in the government to tell us, though. Darn it. I wonder how we can fix that. Anyway, AI will help with the climate forecasts. So that's going to be really good to save people. But at the same time, it's not going to change the, jet streams. I have seen in the past jet streams changing. I do feel like we are in a shift due to the ozone layer, due to our weather patterns are changing to not like they've been for, hundreds of years since the weathers. I think the jet streams are changing, and that's part of the phenomenon of the floods and the weathers and the storms. Okay, as for tech and AI, in 10 years, I said you won't recognize us. Simpler yet, jobs will be more segmented. I feel like the job world, right now you can go online, you can look up plumbers or waitresses, any kind of thing anybody can do. But I feel like in the future, and I don't know how, my back is bothering me sitting here, how this will work will be, I feel like it's going to be more uh, limited. So there'll be tech people, there'll be services, there'll be retail will be in online, but very few personal space, in-person stores. You order, have it delivered to the store. It's going to be more like that. There will be these boutique places where you can go with hands-on, but it's going to be less and less. But my point is that the job segments are going to be more limited. Trades, healthcare, education, um, tech. I don't know why. I feel like things are going to be more, there's going to be an idea or an attitude about how you find jobs or how you label jobs. And I don't know what that means. Um, Health education, we'll lean we're going to lean in to those segments in greater way. I don't even know what that means. People will gradually they just say people are going to get dumber. That's just what, because you don't use your creative problem solving. So why wouldn't your brain doesn't work as hard, right? Which will lead to more, people getting Alzheimer's and stuff and that kind of stuff. And the world will we will interconnect eventually. I feel like the world will get more and more interconnected, even more and more than it is now. The speed of which technology will, of course, this is all stuff you guys know already. But there will be a pushback from the world of nature. People want to have stuff, use their senses. They don't want to just look with their eyes and their brains and their fingers. They want to hear, they want to smell, they want to taste, they want to have communication, social interaction in a physical way, and we need that as humans. So there's going to be a pushback. There's going to be islands of no tech, and I don't know what that looks like, but I feel like islands where people live, maybe, I know it seems crazy to not have, what they're not having Wi-Fi or no phones in school, but it's more like communes in a way where people live and there's no technology, or um, different segments of society will decide it's ruining us for the future. And so they're going to do that in pockets. Land focus, earth regeneration. There's going to be a lot of focus on land, obviously, because of climate change, but there's a different energy. There's going to be like whole segments of population of people are going to really focus on the earth and that kind of stuff more so than now. Um, and I also saw the world coming together. I know we have like NATO and the World Health Organization and different world organizations, but I feel like there's going to be kind of like on Star Trek, when they had the different galaxies represented and they went to they had this committee or this board. So I feel like there's going to be something like that, a different type of board or a different type of world energy. No big leader necessarily, but we all attend and everybody puts in their information. I mean, it's not much different than it is now, but it's going to be greater due to some other subjects that are going to come up with immigration, technology, and that kind of stuff. I did see a new way. I think you're going to come up because digital stuff like AI takes so much energy. They're going to come up with a new way to produce energy in a way that's less harsh on the environment. They have to. So I think they're going to come up with that, which is really good. I also saw that the AI is going to create huge medical advances, and then new ways to help um, cleaning up the water, something with the water chemistry or something helping cleaning up in the plastics or making material. There was, I think I read it to you guys, a Japanese company that created some plastic. It wasn't a plastic, something made out of peas or something, and then it dissolved after it was used or something. It was really great. So it'll be stuff like that. And then I also saw new fuels for airplanes or no fuels or some engines that would lift, which is hard for me to believe without using fuel gas. But there's going to come up with a way to, and it'll be smaller planes. But I feel like they're going to make something that's more climate friendly. It's in the new stages. I don't think it's going to be overnight, but I also saw diseases are going to morph and then we'll have a couple more pandemics. Sorry, too many people on the planet. It's too easy to transfer diseases, and so apologize, but that's so Earth. I did see the ozone layer getting replenished a little bit, but it's not going to be for many years. I also saw that aliens are going to come see us. And I saw that the more we're going to have a lot more meds for cancers and diseases to get discovered rapidly. I feel like medical advances are going to go really quickly. I feel like the Gen Z um, generation is going to be, I've always said the youth is going to save us. They're going to create a new world order. They're younger now, but as we move forward, they're going to create more of a humanity viewpoint instead of power and dominance. There are always going to be human egos that want to dominate, but for them, I think it's going to be for everyone, not just for the powerful. I feel like that's going to happen. It's going to take a while and it's going to get a little messy in the middle, but I think that's going to happen. And I saw that even powerful people, people that don't put priorities right, like people that just want to make as much money as they possibly. It's not that you can't have capitalism, but it's going to be changing where they're going to be looked down upon, people that aren't going to share the wealth. Not as far as communism, but just logically, how much money do you need, right? So so those kind of people that overdo it or overspend are going to be exiled or looked down upon, or I don't think there'll be, they won't be jailed or anything, but something with that. So it changes the whole mentality. I think it's going to be flipped around, which is awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully I'm still around when that happens. And then I think that's due to the greater class disparity and the corporations running things, and they're watching this and they're just logically going, why? This doesn't need to be like this. Why are you guys doing this? So I'm very excited about the future with them and the medical advances and that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. I just looked into Xi Jinping really quick. He is not doing well. He, as they, from a 20,000 feet perspective, they do have somebody that several people. I was on that Third Wish press, Meet the Psychic Press, and somebody had asked me to ask me, and so I asked him, and he saw that they do have doubles for him, and I do, but I feel like in Xi's energy, or she, He is something, he has gotten something, and it's not only a stroke, it's some other thing with his systems. I don't feel like he is able to speak. I don't feel like he is, his movements are limited. And I do think that it's going to be just a matter of time because he's in therapy, physical therapy and all kinds of other therapies, but it's not moving fast enough. So I think they're going to either tell us a story about how he's, suddenly passed away. I don't know. Or accidentally fell out a window, whatever they do there. Um, and then his underlings will be doing the job for him. I think he still has a hold on everybody in his council or his parliament. So I do feel like that's not going to happen right away. I feel like that is not going to happen, but he's really struggling. He's not, I feel like if I'm going to pull a card real fast on him and see Xi, Xi Jinping. I got 7 of fire, which is fighting back. He's a Xi Jinping. Oh, that's not right. I don't want to pull that one. I don't feel like it's right here. Queen of Earth, 10 of Earth. So Queen of Earth is Queen of Pentacles. And then this 10 of Pentacles. So there's a lot of money involved with this. They really are careful about how it looks because they fear the tariffs. I think it's all related to this back and forth negotiation too, because we have to be strong. They want to take Taiwan eventually. So there's a lot involved with this. So money, money, money is very important. So they're not going to show their hand at all with him. But I feel like he's not right. And it's an all over system. It's not just like one side of his face, like, or brain, like in a stroke. It's something different. But yes, I think that's it. That is the case. I did, okay, Robert Redford. um, so let me look at my notes. He was just lovely. And where are they notes? Okay. I don't know what I did with them. Oh, here. It's right in front of me. He's super quiet. Very similar to how he was in real life. His soul is quiet, very quiet. And he's not talking. But I also felt like he feels like he can finally rest. It feels like he's at a place now. I can sit down now. I just felt like he was working really hard. I felt like his body, his bones, not his body, but his bones ached. No idea if he had arthritis or other, but it feels like his bones are very achy. Um, and I feel like he was very evolved as a soul. I feel like he came into this life in a higher plane. And I know he became an actor and actors, but there's a human form of us that choose to go in a direction in life. We're not necessarily all Mother Teresa's, but he used his influence in his life. Whether he was an actor or not, he would have done that. And he got seen by a lot of people, and so he's actually very visible by the world, basically. So he was very evolved. His soul is very evolved, and he was here to be a catalyst. And he knew the truth. He was always trying to promote the truth. And I feel like he left floating. Like sometimes, well, I know this is the case when you leave your body and your soul leaves, it shoots like faster than you can imagine, like at the speed of light. With him, I feel like he's floating away. Like, I don't know if it took him time or he wanted to enjoy the ride, but it feels like he's floating away. Then I see him up on the other side, and he's transitioning to this new way his soul is experiencing what his life was here and what he did and what he could have done or what he did that was really good, or but I saw him knitting or weaving. It's in a light filled space, and he's doing something not bright white but something lighter, and he's weaving something or creating a tapestry or something. And then I realized he's repairing um, patches. He's making something like a big patchy blankety thing. And it's him healing, it's him repairing, it's him um, kind of covering the holes that were there. Oh yeah. So, and it's a symbol of learning and healing. And I feel like some pain in his life was ignored. And this is related to that. And it was a very private pain. He didn't tell anybody that I know of or whatever. It was a very private pain that he pushed down because he was a guy. He was very prideful and he didn't share it or something like that. And it was a deep, deep pain or hurt. And so this woven thing is related to that. Some uh, healing or covering or bandaging of something. So he's doing that up there and he's learning, which is lovely. Private stuff, manly pride. And I asked him what he wants, what he can share about things that are happening now. And he said he wants things to be smoother and kinder. Again, with this, he sees I also feel like he has a legacy within his family and friends, or maybe he had a trust or something that it's going to affect more people. So he left his DNA here. He left his energy, he left his viewpoints and many things, in the Sundance Festival and stuff. There's something about him that he left that he wants his legacy to continue in this viewpoint of smooth kindness, saying the truth, just being good. That's the feeling I have, which is nice. So I asked him uh, any other message, and he says, he smiles at me and he says, stay focused on doing good works. Like the same idea, speaking truth to all power, not just political power, but power that you think is abused in your work or family or wherever. He's like, you have to speak the truth. You don't have to be yelling, but you have to speak the truth, because if you live in that space of knowing the right moral ethical thing, that reverberates. It's got like a vibration to it. And he says, that's what you can do. We can individually do. Wow, that gives me kind of makes me teary thinking about, or emotional thinking about it. He said, eventually the good shall be the dominant goal again. Because right now, good isn't the goal. Some people it is. But the mood out there is manipulation, power, um, clicks, attention grabbing. The good is not the goal. Being true and good. He said eventually will be better, be dominant again. But right now it's not. So he says all we can do is exemplify that in what we do every day. Uh, we can do in whatever way everyone in our lives. Actually, and then he pats me on the shoulder and he says, like you, which is really sweet of him. And he turned and walked away. And I said, thank you. And, you know, I've said this before. My favorite scene in any of his movies, well, I loved Barefoot in the Park with Jane Fonda, like when he was really young. And if you guys remember Twilight Zone, back when it was black and white, there was an episode, he was really young in it. He played a cop. I think it was a cop. He comes to this lady's apartment and he's such, he's so handsome. He's young. And I think they wanted her to move out of this apartment. They wanted to buy her out, or it's a very, little shabby little apartment. She's elderly, and she lets him in, and they're talking, and he's really nice to her, and then you find out, I can't remember the middle part. You find out he's beautiful looking, but he's deaf. He's come to take her, and she falls asleep, and that's the end of it. But it just was so memorable for me because he was just so handsome, and I think that was part of the dichotomy of Twilight Zone. And then in Barefoot in the Park, and then the way we were, that scene where she yells Hubble across, she's Barbara Streisand is handing out ban the bomb flyers, and it's the end of the movie where he comes out of the hotel with his new wife in his military, I think he was in a military suit or something. Anyway, and she comes over and they just look at each other. It was just, I don't know if they got along in that movie, but it just seemed like it was just the sweetest thing. And she fixes his hair, and and they just reconnect for that moment, knowing they can't live together, but they loved each other. And kind of a melancholy, bittersweet moment. Anyway, I love that scene. And all of his other stuff with all the men, all the king's men. The king. Couldn't. So I'm gonna pull a couple cards for for tomorrow, this weekend, because today is Friday. Let's see. Messenger of Fire. So this is Messenger is it's not the page, it's in this deck, it's the um Colette Baron Reed Good Tarot. So this is a Knight of Fire. So this is inspiration. This is the guy in the horse with the wand. Um looking like, are you talking to me? Maybe Robert, I know Robert De Niro. Oh, that came to mind. He is calling for people to protest. Isn't that interesting? It popped in my head. Are you looking at me? From Taxi. And then call. This is judgment. 20 is call. Call to judgment. So it's a big weekend. It's a big weekend. Fire, calling, making noise, doing what we need to do as democratic citizens of the United States, and then Ace of Water. And it's the beginning of some emotional times. Now, this full moon or new moon on the 20th, which is Monday, or 21st, I'm sorry, Tuesday. It's a big day for the country. I don't think the shutdown's going to end, but I don't know. Things are excessive, but there's also a lot of positive energy in that day. So we might find that things there'll be a culmination or an apex, or I think apex, climax of something. We're going to make something big is going to shift. And it could be in response to something negative that happens. I'm not saying, usually the pendulum has to yin and yang, black and white, up and down, all the opposites. We're living a dual world, right? Love and hate. And just a very amped up weekend. So, all right, you guys, you take care of yourselves. I wish you well, and I wish you lots of love and peace, and stay out of the news unless you have to just check in and question the source. Always question the source of what you see. And just because you see it on Facebook doesn't make it real. Okay. All right, you guys, till next time.